Eat Sleep Dreamers, this lesson will change the way you speak English forever. Honestly, you don't believe me. I'm going to show you the secret to being polite in English. It's simple, it's easy, everyone can do it, and you can use it in your English today. It's going to be unbelievable. Bubble. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's unbelievable and bubble. Unbelievable. It's not really a word, but I like it. Why is being polite so important? Well, it's about respect. It's about showing respect for the person that you're speaking to. It's not about formal or informal language, because it's important to be polite in all situations. Now, how to be polite, it's such a cultural thing. And on Eat, Sleep, Dream English, I teach British English. So naturally, what we're going to talk about today is useful for a British English context. Obviously, in other types of English, there might be different rules. Are you ready to learn this secret? The secret to being polite in English. Okay, let's start off with a request. Okay, here we are. We have a pen. You have the pen, and I want the pen. So how could I say it in the shortest way? Well, I could say pen, pen. That's very direct. You would think that was quite rude, yeah? I mean, I'm not being polite there. Pen. It's very direct. Okay, let's see if I can add some words to that. So, pen please. Pen please. All right, I've said please, so it's a bit more polite, but still very direct. Too direct. I wouldn't say that was very polite. Okay, pass the pen please. Okay, I've added some words, but still not particularly polite. So we need maybe a modal verb. So, can you pass me the pen? Excuse me. Can you pass me the pen, please? Okay, that's a request. It's quite polite. Can you pass me the pen, please? Yeah, I think that would be okay. How can I make can more polite? Well, I can change it to could. It's a little less direct. So, could you pass me the pen, please? Okay, it's a nice request. All right, so could you pass me the pen, please? How can we make that even more polite? All right, here's a phrase. Would you mind passing me the pen, please? Would you mind passing me the pen, please? So would you mind, and then passing, so the verb in the ing. So would you mind helping me? Would you mind giving me? So would you mind passing me the pen, please? That's very polite. Can we make it even more polite? Okay, let me try. Excuse me, I'm so sorry to bother you, but would you mind passing me the pen, please? Wow. That's long, right? That's a long sentence. Super polite. Very indirect. Excuse me, I'm so sorry to bother you, but would you mind passing me the pen, please? All right. So there you see the transformation. We've gone from pen, which is very direct, through to, excuse me, I'm so sorry to bother you, but would you mind passing me the pen? Very indirect, so many words, but extremely polite, I would say. So the rule here is the more words there are, the politer it is. Okay. Now that doesn't mean we use any words, just throwing in random words just to make a longer sentence. It has to be the right words. So would you mind, and then the verb, would you mind passing me the pen, please? Those are the right words. We use them for polite requests. Now, context is really important here. Take, for example, a coffee shop. The barista is taking my order and they're expecting me to order coffee. Probably it's quite busy. I don't need to use a really long sentence. Excuse me, I'm so sorry to bother you, but would you mind? I don't need to say all that because the context, it's just not necessary. So I could order a coffee by saying, can I have a cappuccino, please? Or I'll have a latte, please. And the barista would think that that was still very polite. Whereas maybe in a situation where the person isn't expecting me to ask for something, so in the street, if I want directions, then I would definitely be polite. It's a stranger. I would say to them, oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry to bother you, but would you mind telling me where the nearest cafe is? So context is really important when thinking about how to be polite. Okay, let's look at another example. Refusing an invitation. So you invite me to the cinema. So you say to me, Tom, would you like to go to the cinema tonight? Now, in a rude response, I would say no. No. Okay, that's really rude. I would never say that to anyone. Now, it's very direct. If I wanted to be more polite, I would use more words. Oh, no thanks, I'm busy. Again, no thanks, I'm busy. It's politer, but still maybe not as polite as I would like, still too direct. So I would use a phrase like, oh, I'd love to, but unfortunately, I've got plans tonight. Okay, so we've gone from no to refuse an invitation, direct, very rude, to, oh, I'd love to, but unfortunately, I've got plans tonight. Much longer, less direct, okay, and much more polite. All right, let's think of another example, another context. What if you don't understand what someone has said? So they go, and you go, oh, what? Now, what? It's short, direct, but can be quite rude in some situations. Again, this is about context. It's about who you're with and the situation. So with a friend that I know really well, a family member, yeah, I might say, what? That's possible. But if I want to be polite with someone, I need more words. I need to be less direct. So I would say, oh, I'm sorry, what did you say? I'm sorry, what did you say? That's quite nice. So I'm sorry, what did you say? I'm so sorry, I didn't hear what you said. What was that? I'm so sorry, I didn't hear what you said. What was that? More words, less direct, more polite. Okay, one last context. What about if I don't agree with what you say? So you say to me, Tom, I think that the Samsung Galaxy is better than the iPhone. I don't agree. Now, I could say, no, you're wrong. It's very direct. It's quite rude. And it's quite short. Okay, so how can we make that politer? Well, we need to add phrases. We need to make it less direct. So you say to me, I think the Samsung Galaxy is better than the iPhone. I would say, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, and then I would say why. So I'm not so sure about that. Longer, more words, less direct. Okay, you have a point, but I actually think that the iPhone is better because Again, indirect, more words, more polite. So my secret to being polite in English is to use more words and be indirect, okay? The more words you use, generally speaking, the less direct you are and the more polite your English is. We've looked at 4 different contexts, and in each one, I've shown you that the more words we use, we build up our sentences, the more polite we are. Obviously, it's important to think about context, who you're speaking to, and which words you're using. Okay? Don't just use any words. Use the words that we've looked at to construct really polite sentences. If you've enjoyed this video and found it useful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and remember to subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. This is Tom, the English Hipster, and you know what time it is. It's time to take your English to the next level.